All right, folks, good morning. Thanks for everyone to actually coming out this morning in a COVID kind of way.
Recording in progress.
I'm going to need everybody to mute and to stop your video. Whoever James' iPad is, please go on mute. And we'll move from there. Very good. All right. So I appreciate you all joining me today. And a couple of things are going to happen. I'll be delivering this message in two parts. One is the state of the city, of course, that we've been talking about. And two is that what my future plans are. So in the state of the city, I'll tell you where we came from, where we are, and probably most importantly, where we're going, at least where I think we should go. Folks, this has been a 10-year journey for me and my family. First Lady and I, our two sons, James and Jason, have told and promoted and managed and seen through just about everything you could think about with regards to creating a city. So I'll make it brief on that end of it, but I do want to make some acknowledgments. There's an inside joke between Attorney Tom Curry and I. 10 years ago to this month, he was supposed to meet me with a red bow tie on, and I ended up wearing a yellow tie, and we couldn't find each other to the end of the meeting. So, Tom, here's a red bow tie that I owe you from 10 years ago. So, this started, folks, in 2012 with Leadership DeKalb. Great class, as a matter of fact. Great class, great organization with Leadership DeKalb. And throughout this, my conversation with you, I'm going to interject some different thoughts, and then we'll just kind of move forward from there, because I'm more conversational than I am more speech oriented. I met a very important gentleman in that Leadership DeKalb class. His name was Von Irons. During Leadership DeKalb, if you've been in it, we have these different days, and we were in Government Day. And I turned around and I looked at this gentleman who was also living in the same area we were. And I said, you know, Vaughn, we could do this. We could create our own city too. And it was not an issue of separation. It was not an issue of anything but self-determination. And that's what we wanted here in Southeast DeKalb. So I met some really, really important and very strong, noteworthy people along the way. And my mentor in this process, his name was Oliver Porter, and he is the father of Sandy Springs, and quite frankly, he's the father of cityhood. And he mentored me the entire time, and we still keep in contact today. What he taught me most was using my public-private partnerships to build a city. And what we mean by that is that you are not going to go off the bat and hire 100 people right off the bucket. As soon as you incorporate it, you use what they call contract for services. And we did a very, very good job of that with CH2M. We had a really good balance to be able to make this happen, you know, taking it through the General Assembly. And that balance was industrial, commercial, and residential. I want to give special credit to Attorney Bernard Knight, who really introduced all of us to the positive possibilities of what can happen in an industrial park. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But he's done an outstanding job along with the Kelly family. And then we moved, of course, from the balance of industrial, commercial, and residential to be able to make sure that we could all coexist together, making sure we could coexist together. But most importantly, this was a black and white coalition. Majority black folks with regards to our residents, 90%, and majority white folks, if I may use the term, with commercial and large businesses. So the collaboration really had to be very well done. So why a city? Why start a city? Everybody say, we were doing fine. Well, we're not doing fine. We could do a lot better if we were self-managed, self-governed, bringing in our own self-revenue. So with that, our cornerstone to be able to make this happen was economic development at its core. And I wanted to point out something that's very keen also in our creation, which took 3 years through the General Assembly, a lot of toil and struggle, and of course the voting of the folks. We are the largest created majority African American city at 96%, and now at 60,000 people in the history of the United States since Reconstruction and slavery, period, and even before then, actually. So we have done a tremendous job as a 5-year-old city in being able to get started in the history that we've made, and there's much, much more to come. So in the beginning, it took 2 studies to make this happen. We failed in 2012, 2013, and we had to turn around and have another study, which we passed. We reduced the boundaries from 82,000 folks to 55,000 people, and then actually changed the services and waited on some other things that need to happen. Footnote, so I don't forget this. One of the key things I think we have to do for the future to prosper and to make sure that we move in the right direction with all services for the citizens is to indoctrinate our own public safety department, police and everything else that goes with it. We need to give DeKalb County their 24-month notice, who's been a really good partner for us, and then start our own police force. So with that, we indoctrinated as a group a mantra of live, work, play, worship, shop, educate. That's live, work, play, worship, shop, and educate. And so we had those initial board members that put together what was then the Stonecrest City Alliance. And that was Attorney Tom Curry, who also led the Governor's Commission. So he's been here with us, since day one. And he's also the attorney for the Housing Authority, for his firm being, of course, Coleman Talley. And then there was Mayor Darrell Honore, who was a former mayor of the city of Lithonia. Miss Brenda Cornelius, who was on Roy Barnes' staff. Miss Michelle Emanuel, who was a fantastic corporate salesperson. Mr. Tony Render, also the owner of Arizona's, but a very good business person. And the First Lady, who was an educator, Miss Jason Lary. What we did, folks, to be able to achieve these goals was we had a fantastic ground game. And what I mean by that, we went to neighborhood to neighborhood to neighborhood and to the library countless amount of times to being able to present to you, the citizens, that we can earn our opportunity to carry our own water. Earn our opportunity to carry our own water. Earn our opportunity to carry our own water. And quite frankly, folks, that's how we moved away and got an opportunity with the General Assembly. Because finally, you're looking at a majority white GOP with regards to the House of Representatives and the Senate. They could have voted us down every year. But we crossed the street. I remember this as it sat here today, and another gentleman we're going to talk about, when Ples Jordan and I looked at each other and basically told the folks, we don't need your free tokens. We don't need your free lunches. We don't need your discounts. We just need to stand in the same spot as everybody else in fairly, as Dunwoody, as Brookhaven, as Tucker, and then let the people of the unincorporated area of Stonecrest decide if we're going to be a city or not be a city. And they did. They gave in. And I wouldn't even use the word gave in. They allowed it to happen because they're all powerful at the Capitol. And of course, you all know the history from there. You voted, and we win 56%, 57% for, 43, 44% not for it. And then we gain our cityhood opportunity from there. During that last phase, there was a advocacy phase that we had to do with regards to being able to make sure that it's happened legally and properly. First phase was Stonecrest City Alliance. We were an education-based group. Then we moved into Stonecrest Yes, which was an advocacy group, now advocating for the city of Stonecrest. Every process, every piece, every folks that moved to the General Assembly for cityhood have to have the same process. Some very, very key people. Remember, folks, I keep telling you about key people because it's about the people. It's about the folks, the livelihoods of the individuals, and how people want to be governed and live on their own here in a given territory, which is Stonecrest. So the next phase of folks that came along, every time we did a presentation, we picked up somebody else important, because everybody's important. Then it turned around with Stonecrest Yes Advocacy. Joel Tildo, very key. He's chairman of the Governors Commission, and he worked with us on the board of Stonecrest Yes. Sean Jones, he was our website designer, graphics artist, and a committee leader. I talked about Ples Joyner. Folks, you're going to hear me say him several times because he is the general. He led us through this entire process from City Hall to being able to march down at the Capitol, to working as a deputy city manager from there. And he is my friend of 25 years. We coach basketball together. And we're also with the same fraternity of Kappa Alpha Psi. Thank you very much. So we have a lifelong adult bond that you just couldn't have not only a better friend, but a better leader, because he was our leader. I followed Ples Joyner. He brought the actual calm to the storm. He is Obama-ish in his nature and as smart as they come. And I wish him well in his next endeavors. Another key person that we had and continue to have was Slew Wilkins for Fire Station 439 studio, who finished, as you see, the seal behind me along with Sean Jones, and made our brand look as large as we are today. One thing this person met along the journey said this to me and stayed with me to this day. It is not the man, it is the mission. Because you don't want people following a man. What you want is the same agreement with the mission. And I learned that from Councilman Jimmy Clanton. The first day I met he and his wife, I knew then we had something in common, and I knew that we could bond and be on the same page, as I tried to do with everyone. But Councilman Jimmy Clanton had a particular knack of eloquence and a combination of being smart and thoughtful, and he changed and retooled my whole thinking with regards to where we were going. And it's the mission that took us to where we are today. Live, work, play, worship, shop, educate. So it takes 3 additional years to pass, and finally we pass in 2016 and have our opportunity, of course, to vote, the referendum, the whole piece of it. And I wanted to go through just a few minutes of that this morning, because people really don't understand the toil, the stroll, the actual heavy lift, and the sacrifice many people gave with their money, with their job opportunities, with their careers, and they collectively suffered greatly, but a good suffering, good trouble, to get to where we are today. One key thing that we did as we move into what happened and what happens with the city is collaboration. Collaboration was key. See, we ran Stonecrest like a business, not like a municipality. Not that it was wrong for other people or wrong for other places. It's just what we collectively chose to do. And it worked super for us. I mean, it worked really well for us. How do you take a city that's 5 years old and draw some of the biggest corporations in the world to come to Stonecrest? Just give you a few examples, then we'll move forward from here. One, many people thought that the idea of changing our name to the city of Amazon was crazy. Well, it was crazy because we never proposed that. What we proposed was to carve off a piece of the industrial area, 300 plus acres, and turn around and do exactly what we did with regards to cityhood, ushering it through the general legislature so that Amazon can have its own city. So what do you offer the richest man at that time on the planet, in the history of the world? It certainly isn't money. But what caught their attention with us, particularly Jeff Bezos, was legacy. The city of Amazon, Amazon, Georgia, Amazon Highway, Jeff Bezos Parkway. Even though we didn't win that opportunity, what it did was that it drew other corporations of medium and large size to us to say, who is this Stonecrest? And the audacity of them to compete on a world stage. Because I knew we could. I've always knew that we could. And it's the vision of where we were going and what could happen for us. I'll give you several examples. One is that let's go back to collaboration and partnerships, which we had a grand opportunity and still do with DeKalb County. We always wanted and still have a collaboration with the county. We were never adversarial toward them, as other cityhood opportunities were and didn't make it. But we always thought that big brother, big sister of DeKalb County would have a great partnership with us, and we still do, and we have, thanks to CEO Michael Thurman. So let me give you some examples. COVID testing. We bought the Sam's Club building, and the deal that we made with Walmart at the time was that, look, you abandoned us. You abandoned this area. Why did you close a building here in Stonecrest with the type of volume that you're doing here, but didn't close building in other places? So we were able to negotiate with their senior management. I made an opportunity with the URA as chair, as our urban redevelopment agency. So we purchased the building, and it was the best thing that we have ever been able to do. Footnote, and I hope for the future that we don't sell that building. I hope you make it out of a convention center and a new place with regards to where people can come and do their conventions, large conventions, concerts, everything else that as we envision the board, why we're going in that direction. Because as business, real estate is key. Ownership is key, and we own that property, and there's so much we can do with it. But while we were in thrust of this pandemic, we did some things that were very, very good. Number one, a COVID testing over the Sam's Club building. In partnership with the DeKalb County Health Department, and across a 4-month period, over 100,000 people were tested at the Stonecrest coronavirus testing site from September 20th to January 2021. Read you a couple of stats if you don't mind. At the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, beginning in that May, we donated and distributed 15,000 face masks to protect our residents and businesses right here in the city of Stonecrest. We secured 10 temperature screening kiosks for the city of Stonecrest City Hall and Administration Building to protect both City Hall and staff residents while engaged on business and in city business. But most notably, folks, we were the first city to declare a state of emergency in DeKalb County with regards to this virus. Nearly 8,500 residents were vaccinated at the Stonecrest vaccination site from January 2021, even to April 2021. In the month of December alone, we were able to feed over 5,000 Stonecrest residents who were suffering from food insecurity, protein and produce deficiencies, and along with the boxes. And most importantly, once again, we partnered with New Birth Missionary Baptist Church to be able to do this under the great leadership of Pastor Jamal Bryant. More importantly, or equally as important, was the elections that were held. And we supported the DeKalb County Election Board by donating the building so that we hosted the largest voting site in the history of DeKalb County for the 2020 presidential elections, as well as 2 2020 presidential recounts. Same Stonecrest voting site also played host to the people that are in office today, our good friends, historic U.S. Senator races for Senator Raphael Warnock, and Senator John Ossoff. That was really, really key, and DeKalb County came in big right here in Stonecrest. A new city being able to put that level of bravado, that level of oomph, if I may use the term, to help boost our economy, to help boost our elections, to help boost everything that we were doing. We had more than 25,000 people vote in the 2020 presidential and special Senate elections right here in Stonecrest, as we talked about. And the Stonecrest hosted the drive-in election rallies along with drive-in COVID testing right here at Sam's Club building and the Sears building. Point number 2, we purchased the Sears building. And we were able to do so in a fact that when we resold it to Sequest and the mall, we now have one of 2 attractions with regards to the entire state for an aquarium. And the joke that I have with regards to those owners when I flew out to the West Coast to be able to recruit this aquarium to come to Stonecrest, black folks like animals too. So, I see, yes, we do. And being able to have education and petting and make sure that our kids learn about aquatic life and those particular things invaluable here in Stonecrest. But once again, it took collaboration and being able to, buy those assets and act as a business and then sell those assets to the people at the highest and best use. We're so proud of them today to be able to do that. Earlier I spoke about what happened. Why do we become a city? Why do we become a city? And this is, quite frankly, folks, because of our economic prowess and the opportunities that we had. Let me tell you some things that have happened since then. The jobs that we created. That was a number two thing. The number one thing was bringing companies here to be able to create those jobs. And then we have been able to do that also. So we're responsible for bringing Home Chef to Stonecrest and for hiring 1,100 people during a pandemic when people didn't even want to work or come outside. When other folks was, quite frankly, laying people off. In addition, we provided the city chambers for training space and also the new Home Chef employees. And that put $11 million back in our working economy on that side of our economic development plan. Quite frankly, led by a gentleman by the name of Clarence Boone, who did a fantastic job for that particular piece. We partnered with the American Red Cross to provide blood drives for Stonecrest residents and a number of toy drives for our younger Stonecrest residents. There's an agency I want to talk about just for a minute, and then I'm going to step in and out of the people that I mentioned to that. Folks, we have to be a city of caring. We have to be a city of love to be able to grow and prosper. One of the entities that we put together did exactly that. And it's called Stonecrest Cares. And Stonecrest Cares was invented by two employees, Miss Lillian Lowe and Miss Iris Settle. Folks, in leadership, when you have an opportunity to let people expand their wings and grow, you'll be surprised. You'll be amazed at what they can accomplish. Here at Stonecrest, those two ladies put that program together, and we fed the hungry. We clothed the needy. We gave away gifts and toys and made sure that folks' needs were met. And that should be one of the cornerstones, folks, of what we do here in Stonecrest. I think that entity needs to be reinstituted and funded and have an executive director and continue to move forward from there. Because, folks, that's really why we're here. We're here to serve people. Here's the two big things that really happened that I'm very proud of. I'm proud of it all, but mostly being able to make our industrial park an inland park. So what do I mean by that? So for those of you that don't know, we competed and won the Home Depot Distribution Center. And it's not just the Home Depot Distribution Center, folks. We have the railway from Stonecrest Industrial Park, as you know today as Lithonia Industrial Park, to the Port of Savannah. We have a direct rail where they actually come into and move into a 600,000 square feet warehouse and the technology to unload a train to then reload that cargo and go straight to the Port of Savannah. Those are the things that we had over other cities that we were selling and our prowess, and to make sure that not only we were playing with regards to being able to be competitive, but to win. And collectively, folks, this is what we've been doing. So as we separate those entities, with 10% of our revenues coming from residential taxes, and the other 90% is split up between industrial and commercial, the industrial park plays a vital key in being able to sustain long-term growth for where we are in Stonecrest, along, of course, with commercial. So I like the direction that we've been able to take to make sure industry does not impose upon residential. And we're putting processes in place to make sure that there's no mishaps with regards to health environments and those particular things, but at the same time being able to make sure that commerce is continued, because that is the key to our future, when commerce is continued. What else have we done? Folks, we won a big deal with regards to being able to have our own SPLOS, $46 million over 6 years, paving all the roads that we can get our hands on and being able to make sure we look out for our own here in Stonecrest. Because before that, we had a tremendous amount of potholes and our streets were deteriorating. And under the leadership of Players Joyner, we were able to make sure that we have the right studies done with Stantec and our partnership, of course, with the county, as I mentioned earlier, to make sure we got to the worst roads first. And during the pandemic, and even before the pandemic, contractors left roads unpaved. They left potholes, they left man covers 2 or 3 inches above the ground. We were able to take that funding and make sure we took care of those neighborhoods in Stonecrest, taking care of our own from there. The crowning jewel, folks, of all the stuff that we've done is the development of the new Black Wall Street. I cannot tell you how pleased I am with being able to work with Matt Hampton, Mr. Bill Allen, and their team, being able to develop a worldwide brand right here in Stonecrest. And don't get it confused, people. From MSNBC to CNN to every major news network there is has been here in Stonecrest, not only to see the new Black Wall Street, but to see Stonecrest. How can a 96% majority African American city turn around and have this level of achievement in 5 years, from 2017 to 2022 and higher? And folks, we move from a $6.2 million a year budget to $9.3 million a year budget to $10.4 million a year budget to $13 to $13.5 million a year budget. And if we stay on target, stay on plan, become a full service city with regards to police and everything else that we talked about, we'll be a $30 to $40 million a year city. Footnote, so that you know about our economy of scale here. Let's take an issue with regards to revenue and compare it to other cities of our like size and tell you where we can go. So we're at 13.5 million at this point. We're 60,000 people. Brookhaven is right under us at 59 and change. They're a $66 million a year city with the same amount of people, more or less. Our footprint is bigger, but we have room to grow if we take in all the proponents of what my plan lays out. Now I'll get to that in 2 minutes. So the events and attractions that we've been able to do, we talked about Sequest, revitalizing them all. Just many of the things that's coming under the brilliant leadership of Von Irons and Urban Retailers and his partners. Arabian Mountain is such an attraction for us, and being able to do so, and why we love it out here in this area. The advantation of being able to develop a botanical gardens and those particular pieces on that end of it is really, not only is it good for tourism, it's good for education, great for education as a matter of fact. And speaking of which, I want to personally thank Courtney Dillard with Infinite Scholars, who's been my partner for the past 3 years, for bringing millions of dollars of scholarships for African American kids to be able to have their future from there. Another piece after the new Black Wall Street market, I see it as a new Black Wall Street village, as that comes about here at the mall, being able to have a collaboration with Mr. Allen and Allen Family Investment to go to the next phase of where we'll be at that point. And one of my favorite is that we hosted a 32-foot tree lighting service right here on top of the Sam's Club building. I drove by the other day and it's still there, and I love it. So folks, that's where we have been. That's where we are today. I want to give some thank yous and then pretty much go to from there. So my philosophy, folks, as a leader, Samuel, mute your mic, please, is that promote within. I think that the 30 plus years that I spent in corporate America, I've done a few concerts too, but mainly I'm a healthcare executive. People don't really know that side of me, but that's okay. Um, um, what I found in being able to manage individuals and to lead and have been led myself, of course, is that you give the people an opportunity to grow within your organization. That's my executive style, and it works for me. And as we talk about some of the things that we've done, look at what happened with those of staff. We took a couple of young guys that had potential, and they did a fantastic job at a certain level they worked at. That was Brandon Riley with Parks and Rec. Then he's promoted to director of Parks and Rec. I am to understand he's taking another opportunity, but he continues to grow. And along with Chris Wheeler, who was the city planner then, he became our planning director. I promoted these people along with some others to be able to make sure that they had the same opportunity that other people have. Give folks a chance first, folks. Work with people first. Put that person first. Not function, not process, but the people themselves. And then you'll have an opportunity to see how they grow. So I'll talk about these functional areas briefly, then I'm going to the next announcement. I want to thank Ms. Leah Rodriguez.
Nigger, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So about that.
Oh, my phone.
Yeah.
My phone is great.
So what ends up happening is, even when we started the city of Stonecrest, we were threatened the same type of thing. And we had this same type of thing that was going on that's happening now. And this is the drawbacks of technology, but more so do the best you can, Miss Venable. Do the best you can. None of this is surprising to me. So, with that, but this is how it started with the city of Stonecrest. So we got these same kind of threats, the same type of thing. And we must be doing something very good, to make these things happen. And thank you, Angela, with regards to being able to do that. So our functional areas, and we're being hacked, as we start. Here's what I want to say on that end of it. I want to continue the city of Stonecrest to. It's okay. It's okay, folks. We're going to handle this with dignity, and we're going to continue. Folks, work with the Stonecrest Development Authority. It is our number one opportunity to make the large deals happen. They've already shown you with the leadership with Ms. Belinda Hull, and also with my good friend, Mr. Julius Lee. Those officers there in the Stonecrest Development Authority, you can make outstanding opportunities as we've done in the future, as we can in the future, but as we've done in the past. So, number two, continue to work, staff and council, with the Stonecrest Housing Authority, led by Bill Bruckner, and vice chaired by Ms. Edwina Clanton. Very good people, very good board, and you're able to make your senior housing realities come true, which is a very big goal for us. So if you continue with regards to the agencies, I mentioned earlier, reconstitute Stonecrest Cares and be able to have that type of prowess in being able to give back to the community and take care of those folks. Another piece also is the Stonecrest Visitors and Convention Bureau. I know that we've contracted with another agency, and I know that agency, and I'm happy with the agency, but there's nothing like spending your money on you. So you take those tax dollars, you take those hotel motel fees, and spend it on just yourself. Think about the $250,000 a year you can spend on yourself with the money that you bring in, as we also continue to keep our promises with the citizens as to not raise taxes, which we did not do. We did not add a new tax, which we did not do. We kept our promises in that area to make things happen. I encourage you all to continue to work with the planning board, certainly with Eric Hubbard and my personal with J.W. Eady, good friend of mine, and my balance, and who have coached me along the way to do exactly what I'm doing here today. Folks, I could name so many other people to make progress in this area, but I don't want to hold the time for that. And I just want to thank those that have done just a fantastic job for us in City Hall. Worked hard, from day one. Ms. Rodriguez being the face of the city, formerly our clerk, Ms. Megan Reed. Those people that work in business license, oh my goodness. Sonia Isom, and she's also the assistant city clerk. Our development of our communication department with Mr. Adrian Bell, and of course Angela Venable, that's doing a fantastic job today. And from the mayor's office with regards to where we were and the events that we promoted. I'll pause for a second. No worries, Angela. We'll pause. Thank you, Ms. Venable. Is the fabulous Ms. T. Fox, who absolutely, for Fox Entertainment, put us on the map with the largest media people in the world, as a matter of fact. Al Franklin, fantastic job for cultural affairs internationally. Our sister cities in Guyana, he's been responsible for that, and I hope that the city looks at bringing that opportunity back. Our business development in connection with economic development we called them the bigs, Clarence Boone and Will Seller. They did a fantastic job in being able to bring in the things that we have. Currently working, of course, is Mr. Al Farrell with code enforcement, his team of William Kirkland and those folks, along with Dakota Richardson, who did two jobs, code enforcement and courts at that time. Kerry Caldwell, they don't come any better as the leader of the building inspections and inspectors with John Wright, and one of my favorite people on the planet, Linda Hope. Oh my goodness, I miss you too, Linda. Parks and Rec, we talked about that earlier, led certainly by Miss Tamika Porter now. And I want to talk about a guy for 30 seconds. His name is Sheldon Fleming, who is a horticulturalist, a genius, and I hope we continue to use him in botanical gardens opportunities and his leadership and experience that man brings to Stonecrest. And these are Stonecrest employees, people that are here. Ran Wonderland Garden, met him at Porter Center for Performing Arts and Community Center. Just a wonderful person and leader. But like I had mentioned earlier, folks, it's about the people. It's about the people and the structure that you have, allowing them to be able to promote themselves, to earn their stripe, to be able to promote themselves. And you just can't beat that. If you just stick with what's happening with the people, you're going to be just fine. So, where are we going for the future? I was given a vision, and the audacity that my family and I had into forming the city. Unequivocally believe that 55,000 plus residents in the Southeast Corridor could have our very own city and make the decisions for ourselves, which we've done a fantastic job of. With that belief, quite frankly, folks, I gave the last 10 years of my life to this, and I wouldn't take back one day. For the city of Stonecrest to become a reality, as I told you, beginning in 2012. We had to convince the Georgia legislators that we could carry our own water, that we could take care of our own selves. And there were many times, folks, several times, I wouldn't say many, but several times, enough that I just wanted to quit. I said, this is just too much. But I stuck with it, as I want you all to stick with us, because the road to this, the road to prosperity, the road to happiness, is a difficult road at times. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm proud to be the visionary I'm proud to be the leader. I'm proud to be the inaugural mayor of what has happened today. And as we continue, as we do today, I want to make sure that folks know that my family and I, we did the best that we could do with the knowledge and with the abilities that we had at hand. And we really, really appreciate you allowing us to create this opportunity and stay with it, from there. I thank the residents for believing in the vision. I thank you all for being able to make sure that we go in the right direction and continue from there.
Fuck, look at those balls.
So, this type
So
of
you guys want to see me eat his ass?
this type of thing, as you can tell with technology, is immature and ridiculous. So that's fine. But with that, you can see this without that nonsense on Facebook page on Jason Lary. You can replay it without the antics in those particular years. So as I thank each and every one of you for allowing me the honor to serve you, to do the best I can. Every executive has to make a decision as to how far he or she can take an organization. And I've given you all I can give. I love doing this. I love serving the people. And I just wanted to give a quick background that is difficult for anybody to fight cancer 3 times, have full-blown COVID, still as a long hauler, have level 1 sciatica in my 4 and 5 disc vertebrae. You wake up in pain every morning. But, as I tell my good friend and the folks that have made the best of us, which is On Common Ground News, who stuck with us from the beginning, Valerie and Glenn Morgan and those publishers, you just tough it out. But I have my limits. Just a simple guy from Macon, Georgia. If you all don't mind me shouting out my class, 1980, Northeast High School, 1984, Clark Atlanta University. I did the best that I could do with what the abilities that God gave me. My focus and desire was to always make this city world class, and being able to move us forward from there. Community, commerce, and culture working together as a world-class city. Community, commerce, and culture working together as a world-class city. So with our thoughts and prayers and having a continued conversation with my wife and my 2 sons, and my dog Molly, Jason, Molly, and First Lady. It's time for me to retire from politics, really get focused on my health. And also, as of tomorrow, which is January 5th at 10 a.m. effective, I will resign and have resigned as mayor of the city of Stonecrest. Lastly, and perhaps most profoundly, I want to thank my wife, of course, of 35 years, and my kids for always standing with me. And they're just great guys. I hope you envy me where my family is concerned. I have the greatest family in the world. I got a chance to grow up and play basketball with my sons and soccer and fix stuff and work on cars, and I just couldn't have 2 better kids, a wife and family. Just it is my center. So in closing, I ask that you all measure me by the whole story. I did the best I could do with what we had in place. I'm forever grateful for those residents who supported the vision that was implanted in me by God, of course, for our city. Thank you for allowing me to be the founder and the first mayor, continue, and being able to be the visionary of where we're going from now and in the future, because I think my team and I have set the groundwork and the foundation for us to continue in that area. So with that, Godspeed. And again, thank you for allowing me to serve. And I love you guys. Thank you.